Hello and welcome to my canal side walk, and in today's video I am going to be talking about the planes which in my opinion should be given to Ukraine. Polish planes. I'm in Poland right now, and I understand, I speak it fluently, Polish, and I am a utter proponent of giving these weapons to Ukraine. Now, the Polish government made an offer to hand over its MiGs, the Fulcrum, to use the NATO reporting code, to Ukraine. And so what it did was it flew them to Ramstein, which is in Germany, and it wanted to give them to the United States so that the United States could then hand them over to Ukraine. And in my opinion, what we have here is a very cynical piece of politicking and showing weakness on not only the part of the US government, but also on the part of the Polish government, and cynicism on the part of the Polish government. Now, as we speak, missiles are raining down on civilians who are living in blocks of flats in Ukraine. They are being targeted indiscriminately in a barbaric acts which are incidentally illegal, I believe, under international law. But obviously, who's going to exercise the law in these circumstances? These attacks, of course, could be stopped by the use of aircraft. Now, this, I wouldn't say it would stop everything. I'm not that daft as to believe this would be the end of it, but it would change things quite dramatically. And we can see in military history where the control of the skies changed, and suddenly there was a completely different situation on the ground. And for example, I could say at the beginning of 1943 in North Africa, when the Luftwaffe got control of the skies, then that completely changed the situation there. Here, look at this. What do you think of that? Look at the size of that rat. You know what that is? Don't say you don't see something new in any of my videos. That's what's called a koipu, C-O-Y-P-U. The koipu is from South America. So this is fake news to say I'm not in Poland at all. I'm in South America. Yeah, well, they turned up here, probably on his holidays. Right, so the planes can actually take out, hopefully, not only these bombers, but they might also be able to take out the missile launching sites and where the cruise missiles are coming in for. As it stands, Ukraine at present has next to no defense against cruise missiles coming in. Nonetheless, despite the Russian attacks, particularly those on the first day, I understand that part of the Ukrainian Air Force is still operational. And so this would be a very welcome help. Now, there are those who claim if we give the planes, by we I mean NATO, the West, we give these planes to the Ukrainians, this will mean the Third World War. Russia will declare war on us, and then it'll be the last time you ever go for a night out in Newcastle. I don't believe that that would be the case. And to put this quite succinctly, the Russian military is 8-9 times larger than that of Ukraine. However, it is having distinct trouble beating it. The NATO is approximately, depends how you calculate it, but in terms of value, I would say it's somewhere in the region of 8 to 9 times the size of Russia. So if it did come to a conflict, a shooting match, then I think I'm pretty certain which side would win. And so I don't think Russia would be daft enough to do that. The next point is that when the Korean War was on, the Soviet Union supplied even fighter aircraft to North Korea. Did that result in nuclear confrontation when, hey, the West had the distinct nuclear advantage? No, it didn't. When Russia and China were supplying weapons to the Viet Cong and North Vietnam for use on United States forces and Australians and everyone else who was there, South Vietnamese, did that result in conflict? And the answer to that is clearly no, it didn't. And so what about, here's something that I distinctly recall. In 1982, Peru offered to give Argentina fighter aircraft for use against the United Kingdom, a nuclear power. Did Lima disappear under the mushroom cloud of a Polaris submarine? No. Did Britain even intervene to stop the delivery? No. I should have done that though, come to think of it. But so the idea, now I do appreciate, you say, well, yes, but the risk is too great. The problem is this, is that people do not understand the mentality. After World War II, or even towards the end, there was Roosevelt who thought he could deal with Stalin. He would give Stalin everything he wanted, and noblesse oblige. There's some French here. Stalin would see how nice the United States and to a lesser extent the United Kingdom was, and he would give way. Did he? No, of course not. Well, maybe not, of course not. He saw it as weakness. That's what he did. It's not a case of, I know that I know most of my viewers are in the United Kingdom, United States, but we would say that we have a way of doing things. It's not a case of, you could say, look, I'll tell you what, Alan, you did a video, I'll give you a lift home, and you can have something to eat. So when I'm at your house, I'm very polite and very nice and don't steal your silverware. And that is the way that we noblesse oblige, no? But in that's not the way it's seen with this Eastern type mentality. The mentality of somebody who goes horseback riding without his shirt on, and who wants to support his manliness by, playing hockey and knocking in goal after goal after goal after goal, or goes deep sea diving, or he goes up in jets and all the rest of it. That's because he wants to show how butch he is. And this, unfortunately, is the two things go together. Mussolini also behaved in that way. He wanted to show how butch he was. I mean, you can imagine Boris Johnson sort of going around without a shirt. Well, I'd rather not imagine that sort of layers and layers of fat. What about Rishi Sunak? Now, he's quite a good-looking guy. Well, I think he is. It appears to me to be a good-looking guy. He looks to be well-built. What if he did it? It doesn't fit. So it just, these things don't work. What other, I've forgotten his name, Trudeau from Canada. He's a good-looking, fit-looking guy. Again, it just doesn't fit. Or Angela Merkel. Oh, no, don't think about that, no. Anyway, I think I've made my point. It's this mentality, and this is a mentality which shows force. He respects force. In 2015, the Turks shot down a Soviet bomber that got into their airspace, and there was even arguments whether it was in their airspace or not. They didn't ask questions. They didn't ask it to remove itself. They just shot it down. What did Putin do? Did he declare war on them? No. He made sure that no aircraft went anywhere near it again. And that is what is understood. It's force. And the weaker we show ourselves to be, the more dangerous the situation gets for us. And I think it's better to defend ourselves in Ukraine, to defend ourselves on the banks of the Dnieper, than to defend ourselves on the banks of the Tyne. That's where I come from. So these planes should be given. Now, I mentioned earlier this is rather cynical of the Poles, because the Poles, and I don't mean the Polish people, I mean the Polish government, the current Polish government, which is made up of Putin wannabes to a large extent. What did they do? What they could have done is ask the Ukrainians to pop by and pick them up. And, they could have painted them in Ukrainian colours first. And if they don't want to do it, I'll make you an offer now. I will nip down to Castorama and buy the paint, and you can paint them in Ukrainian colours, unless it needs some special paint, which I can't afford, in which case I might have to withdraw the offer. So it's very, very easy. All you've got to do, come back, pick them up, then take them off. Now, ideally, pick them up and then have them armed and ready to go immediately. They could even, just to keep Putin happy, so he makes some money out of the deal, they could fill them up with fuel, which comes from Russia anyway. So he'd get some cash out of it. They could do that, and that, they wouldn't like it. But as things stand at the moment, they don't like it. They don't like it that planes are coming. They don't like that arms are coming. Okay, well, they don't like it. There's a simple solution. They get out of Ukraine. And they would pay for all the damage they've done. And they compensate everybody for their losses. That's it. Simple. But they won't do that. So we have to show force to get them to leave. And to stop this imperialist aggression. And now, the United States, Poles want the US to give them some aircraft in return. So they've given them to the United States, and I don't quite know what the legal situation is as I speak, if they've actually given them to them, or the US has refused, or what have you. But anyway, flying them to Germany, which is completely the wrong way, because Ukraine's the other way. It's like if you're in Chicago and you want to send something to New York, you wouldn't go to Los Angeles, would you? I mean, anyway, it's flying them is utterly cynical. What they did was they then put in Polish on the Polish website that would be seen by the press and their base that this is what Poland's doing. Poland is fighting, but it's not. It's giving. The threat is that if Poland gives it, okay, Russia might attack. Well, again, as it might attack, give it to them, or not give it to them. I think the risk doesn't get any greater. Personally, I can't see. I mean, some of the weapons going to Ukraine certainly coming through here. I'd imagine. I mean, I'm not a weapons transporter of any way. Okay, so that is my opinion. The Poles should just give these, never mind the weak administration in the United States, which is not going to do anything, give them to the Ukrainians who need them. Now, not give them, lend them, that can return them, and that can paint them back in Polish colours when they get returned. And if there's any damage, they have to repair the damage. So, let's be clear on that one. And you know what? Maybe they could pay some rental fee as well whilst I've got them in the air. I think that would be fair. Don't you think? And clean it out as well once they've got them back. You don't give them back dirty or anything. You want it cleaned out, hoovered properly, and have a good wash. Well, what do you think? Do you think that handing over these planes would lead to the Third World War? I mean, put your opinions below, because I'm always very curious to see them. And I'm always welcome of informed comments. Stupid comments will get a stupid response from me. But informed comments will get a polite response from me, even if I disagree. Thanks very much for listening.